Lights, camera, action.
Good evening and welcome. Today is Wednesday, September the 18th, 2019, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. First item on the agenda. Anything?
Nothing else to add tonight. I would just like to welcome Billy Zion to the board. He is our new member filling the architecture slot on the board. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll move right into the public hearings. First being BAR 1831. Jeffrey.
This item has been before the board previously on two occasions. This will be Grace Church going in the old theater building. The first time they came for the building improvements and some signage questions. The second time they had made some changes to the addition on the back of the building, which were approved, and they're back now. They have some proposed changes to the signage on the front of the building. And so what you see here is what was previously approved by the board. You have the marquee sign here in this location. This was to be internally illuminated in an Art Deco font to match the architecture of the building. And in addition to that, you have a unlit metal letter wall sign in this location. As they've gone through their processes, they have changed that now. And so starting with the wall sign, they have changed their corporate graphics. This will actually be blue, has the letter G and then Grace Church going across, and it no longer has the two hands over the church. And then they have also changed the marquee sign. Still to be an internally illuminated sign, but it is black with white lettering now, along with the light bulbs on the outside of the sign as well. There is a change in the fonts. They have provided some background for that. It goes with their corporate logos, and they also have some examples of similar signs, Art Deco type signs they feel with a similar font as to what they're proposing for the sign. And so they're providing that as justification for the font change. Okay. So with that, when reviewing this request, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8, Design Guidelines for Signs. The following policies apply. The first policy states to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include both the flush-mounted wall sign and the projecting sign. Finally, a sign should be in character with those seen historically. The board must decide the proposed improvements meet the above criteria. Sign permits will be required prior to installation of the signs if approved by the board. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Thank you. Certainly we don't want to dictate logos, but it's really unfortunate the Art Deco lettering of Grace on that sign looked so appropriate. Jeff, clarify for us the internal illumination on the marquee sign.
It's similar to what was previously approved. Here it was more of a flat face with the letters cut out, and so the only thing that's illuminated would be the lettering. On the new sign, it's similar. You have acrylic insert.
Okay.
And so you have a black metal face with the white acrylic insert. So the lettering again will be the only thing that's illuminated, plus the light bulbs on the edge.
All right, very good. So we have a change in font and addition to the marquee sign, the external light bulbs. Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
Is the font on the, I guess, the marquee the same font as the sign that's on the face of the building? The same font?
Is that the same exact font as the wall sign and the lettering on the marquee?
For color coordinating font, there are slight modifications to make it a logo versus a symbol instead of copy.
Okay. Well, there's another one. Is there a graphic, isn't there a graphic that shows both of the new ones, Jeff?
Didn't make it to our packet.
I don't think, there it is, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. And is the one on the building lit or not
It
lit?
is not lit.
Okay,
And that's the same as the previous approval. The original approval, this was interior illumination, and this one was non-lit. And you've got you can see their color, doesn't show up very well on here, but there's two different color blues, that the letter G is one color of the blues, and, the words are a different color of blue, and that goes in with their new, logo that they have as a church.
Is that B logo still gonna fit within the panels? Looks like that large G might fit outside of the, like there was a recessed,
It's just
Yeah.
basically it's a blank wall now,
okay, it's a blank wall,
originally.
okay.
So it wasn't really a particular sign freeze or anything in that location. It's just the area between, you can see here where they had cut the windows in later.
Okay. No, I like it.
Anything further? A motion? A motion from John to approve. Second, Andy. Motion is second. Here, anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Alright.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to BAR 1927.
This has also come before us previously. If you recall, in the backyard, she has gotten approval at the previous meeting to demolish two old garage buildings. And she had a request for approval to construct a new garage. She was unable to make it to the last meeting, and so we brought it forward to this meeting for that approval for the new building. It's a little bit of a change since the staff report. There's sort of an intermediary step, I guess. And so she is requesting approval of a temporary building in the back, which would then be replaced with the permanent garage at a later date. And so, it's still in the same location. And don't worry about the colors, because they're gonna be different. But she's looked maybe possibly two different designs as possibilities for this. And so you have a wood structure, it has vertical wood siding on it. This one has a metal roof. The one that she would have would be white to match the house with a black metal roof. The second option for this temporary building would be this design, again, white with a black shingle roof, in this case, shingle instead of metal. A little more in keeping with the roof design of the house than the gambrel roof here would be. And so she's seeking possible approval for one of these two buildings tonight until they can raise the money to construct a garage, which would be a lot pricier. You've seen these before. We've had several possibilities of designs for the garage that she has asked the board to look at. Basically either with or without a carport attached to it. So you have kind of storage and a carport or just a garage. Right now the house has vinyl siding on it, white vinyl siding, and it has a green shingle roof on it. And so for the permanent garage, we'd be looking at either white wood siding or white hardy board siding with a green shingle roof to match. But the question, again, there's several designs here, with a little bit of different roof pitch. Let's see. We had one here where it's sideways, with the dormers on it. And so, I would look at it as a two-part request. One, temporary, and then when the new garage gets built, this either gets moved to a different portion of the property or goes away completely, and then approval for the actual future permanent garage.
Is the demo before us tonight?
We've already approved the demo.
Okay, but I was looking at the
This
staff
would just be
report.
the accessory structure. Policy states an accessory structure should be similar to those seen historically, to be located to the rear of a lot, should be subordinate to the primary structure, should be similar in character to those seen traditionally, and should maintain the traditional range of building materials on accessory structures. Again, the board must determine if the proposed change meets the guidelines listed above. I'm happy to answer any questions that I'm able to, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Sure, okay, procedurally, let's get some clarity here. My thoughts would be that even if for the temporary structure, it's gonna have to be guidelines.
Correct.
And the permanent version, is that before us tonight as well?
We would like that to be before us. Yes.
Poses a little bit of difficulty in that we don't know what's gonna happen to the temporary structure.
I think the board has some leeway to say, we'll approve this as a temporary structure. When the permanent structure is completed, the temporary structure goes away. Or come back at that time with a plan for where the accessory structure will be moved to, when we can either approve that at that time or say that it has to go away.
I want to avoid enforcement issues that
Right.
we've encountered in the past. That's my concern.
Right. I mean, the
Doing
new
it
garage, you would have to get building permits for that, so, that would trigger the building department to notify us about that, and, we would have a conversation with the applicant at that time about, as a reminder of any decisions the board makes and what has to happen to that building.
And the timetable for the new permanent construction?
It's undecided, but, probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay, then, with that being the case, that's sort of what I was thinking might be the situation. I'm a little reluctant to pass on the permanent structure tonight, with it being so far down the road. And just,
Well, it's strictly this color, like we're just really looking at the color, that is for approval, the color and the size. As far as location goes, this application, then of course, we have to that.
but I mean, if it's 4 or 5 years down the road, I'm not quite sure as to why.
Well, it's hypothetical. If we get the money sooner, we would like to get this,
Sure.
like, the sooner the better, but, we have to live in a real world.
I totally understand.
So,
We're with
we
you.
have the money, we don't have the money, but, that's why we're suggesting the shed first, that, we can get the equipment out of our house, because it's dirty, and we need, and the shed that's existing is very unsafe, and it's, it's housing rodents and insects, so we need something temporary, and the shed was something that we were hoping to at least get approved today. And if you didn't want to approve the garage today, that's fine.
Right, because I'm, as I believe there are 6 or 7 options.
Well, it would only be, well, the white and the green, obviously the house is white and green, so it would be that option for color. And the material would be wood, because that's probably the only thing that you guys will approve, so, when it comes down to what type of wood, I don't know what the options are, because I haven't gotten that far yet, but,
I mean, but if we went ahead with the temporary tonight,
yeah.
and made a decision on that, any major inconvenience in waiting till you're closer to actually doing the construction?
Probably not.
Okay. That might be,
You're okay with that? I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
okay, so let's, discuss these 2 temporary structures, which of course need to meet guidelines as well.
So we have one version here. Again, It would be white siding with a black metal roof in this case. And then this has another possibility, again, white siding with, in this case, a black shingle roof.
That's called smart side, or, it's not siding, it's
It's a wood composite product.
yeah, it's a wood composite,
Like a
painted wood composite, insulated.
attractive.
Yeah, very attractive.
Comments, thoughts?
I think this one with the shingled roof with the wood siding would be a closer match to the house, in my opinion.
We can do siding on the other one as well, in like metal. This gives us more storage.
Could this be horizontal siding on this one, or does it have to be vertical?
Both vertical siding.
Yeah, I
Back
think the
to the other
roof
one.
structure of this is more in keeping than the structure of the other one. But are you
Hmm.
saying this one is larger?
That one's much larger and it's a lot less expensive. It's less expensive. By probably $5,000.
Would this sit in the location of the previous structure that was demolished, or?
It was sitting, yeah, there's a little shed on the side that is actually usable for storage, but it's rusting, so we would consider that one. Size would be, either a 10 by 16 or a 10 by 20. And the other one would be,
Would this be visible from the road, Jeff?
It's pretty far back, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's familiar with the property as well, and I don't believe you'd be able to see this at all from the road.
Right.
What are your thoughts, Andy?
I definitely know what it's like not to have storage. Very much. Now, is the other one available in other sizes, or is it just one size as well? That one?
that particular one, I think, well, I would have preferred that one, because it does look nice, it is nicer, and, it is more in keeping to the house, but because of the cost, so in order to get what I wanted, and for the cost, we have to go down to size, so those are the dimensions there. Yeah, see, there's the price, oh, I was thinking of the other one. There's actually two designs. They look identical, but one is almost $4,000 to $5,000 more. I think it's because of the height of the walls.
The other one said something about a loft.
Yeah, the barn shaped one actually has two lofts inside.
Other way.
Would help alleviate a lot of the bulkier, one-year type of equipment that we have, so we can elevate it off the floor. And it would help us out tremendously. The other one doesn't have the lofts, but they have the higher ceiling. Well, I think there's a loft option with the other one. Not the one that Jeff's showing, but there's another one that has a higher ceiling, that has a loft option, but again, it's an extra $4,000 or $5,000 more. So it's mostly, at this point, it's a cost issue for us, and that's why we wanted to get the garage approved, because we won't approve the shed, and it's gonna cost us $8,000, we might as well go to the garage, you know what I'm saying?
Right, because,
The cost of the garage would only be an extra, if you only approve the one, it would probably, not only, it'd be about $10,000 more, but.
and the reality is, even with the gamble roof, you know, with what you're spending on that, I don't know that you're gonna want to have it gone, and this is the roof that is consistent with the other options that you're showing for the garage.
If you only approve this one, then we would hope that if we had to go smaller for us to afford it, we would be able to keep it,
Right,
right?
and
Then we would get the garage, yeah, for the extra stuff.
and keeping this roof would match the other roofs that you're proposing, whereas the other would not.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever you guys decide, our first choice would be the barn, but this is also, a fair option.
Okay.
No pressure.
So, do you want us to approve this as being shown, or do you want us to approve, one of the permanent options? Or would you like an either or?
Ideally, I would like both, but it's up to you.
No, but
Originally, we wanted the garage option. So if you want to go ahead and approve the garage option, that would be fair. And then I can push my husband to just wait, we have to live our situation for a little longer. And maybe get, I don't know, like a lifetime shed. Do I have to get another little shed approved just by going to Home Depot for like $600? Like, we need something, that's all I'm saying. We need to get this, it's a safety issue, because I have a young son in the house. And we have tools that could be potentially dangerous. You know, we work hard, we get tired, we get, and we forget, right? So I just don't want an accident happening. If we can get something small and temporary, in the interim, and we approve the garage, if that's gonna be okay with you guys?
right. So when you're talking small, something of this design but smaller?
It could be, or we have those plastic ones, you know, those lifetime plastic ones,
Yeah, that's not gonna,
that would
That's not-
fly, right?
it's not gonna work.
If you wanna approve something smaller, then you have to approve both, right? So, you see my dilemma?
But I'm asking you what you would like for us to do. I think this particular design could be approved in whatever size you decide on.
Okay, then let's do that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we approve this one in the size of her choice up to, do we need to limit it? I think your budget's gonna limit the size, is that correct?
The biggest we can go is the 10 by 20.
Okay.
It's a better option than having a pods trailer in front of your house for like 3 years, like the one on North Street was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it, and it potentially has some, more long-term benefit to the homeowner. This is a better solution than a pods unit, which is a temporary situation as well, too.
We
I
would
would
want it to be
second, lawyers.
motion.
And then I would table, my second would be to table the garage design until I get that solidified.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this design for temporary, whatever length of time, exterior structure. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Your permanent design for the garage, that application can remain open, correct, Jeff? The application for the permanent structure can remain open?
Yes.
So whenever you're ready, just contact Jeff and we'll get you right back.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Now, on to BAR 1934.
The applicant is requesting approval for several changes to the property at 2104 East North Avenue in the North Anderson Historic District. Property is a single-family residence. Now, the applicant is seeking to change out all the windows on the house. The current windows are a combination of window patterns based on the size of the windows. You have 8/12, 8/8, 6/6, and 1/1 solid pane windows in the back, and what appear to be 3-panel casement windows in the back. The applicant is seeking to replace these with matching simulated divided light windows. They would be white vinyl covered aluminum. So you can see there on the front of the house, you have, it's actually an 8/12 window. You've got 8/8. 6/6. And then on the back of the house, you have several different things happening back there as well with the windows. So there's a variety of window types on the house currently. The applicant is also seeking to change out the garage door. Currently, you have two individual doors with the brick column in the middle. He would be seeking to remove that and replace it with one large double garage door opening. And if you have a question for the applicant, there is another part that is not in the staff report about moving a window as well. And the applicant will be able to give me some clarification on that as we go. Okay.
So, that window in the middle, and the one on the right side, that's where the kitchen is, and we're trying to shift the kitchen down to the right as the picture shows. So what we want to do is take those two windows out and then put in two smaller windows, and we would find the same brick or very close to it and brick it all in the same. So that was something that, yeah, wasn't written into it. But they're all going to be of the same style and proportionally correct to whatever was a window of that size. Windows that we were trying to put in are 36 inches wide by 54, so about the size of that. It would basically be like taking that middle window and separating. So you put one on the right and one on the left. And both of the openings kind of shift a little bit, so I couldn't say that it's right in the middle of that one. They're going to change.
The windows to the far right that are behind the bushes, are they long?
It's a little longer than that one. That one's over the kitchen sink. The one on the right is a bit taller, and that's where like they had a dinette sort of thing. And so the dinette's going away, the cabinets are going to go all the way over, and we need that one on the right and to be a bit taller like the kitchen. Or not, I should say shorter, higher off the front. Now that's a better illustration.
Okay, so the single window is the same dimensions as the one to the far right, the double windows?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The single window,
Yes.
is that the same height as the one to the right, other way?
Oh, yes, and they would stay at the same height. The height wouldn't change, but the width would change and the location would change a little bit. So what I'm doing is buying two windows, or what I'd like to do is buy two windows that are about the width of the ones on the left and also the height of the ones on the left. I'm going to remove the one on the right.
This will be gone.
And make them, there'll be two of them, size of the one on the left. And the locations are changing slightly from where they are now. I believe the one on the left is moving to the right some.
It'll be like one here and one here.
And I think the one on the right moves left.
Do we have drawings?
I can provide you those, but no.
Okay.
Okay.
Drawings really would help.
Well, it's kind of work in progress still.
Sure.
I just threw that out there, but what I'm leaning towards, I've got a kitchen design. Basically, there'd be a hood in the middle, and I want to put two symmetrical windows around it.
What is your timetable on that aspect of the project?
I'm moving forward with everything.
Right.
So I would say 3-4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my impression is that you really would like to see some drawings in the back, but we could certainly move forward on the window replacement design tonight.
All right.
And to that, okay, we've got a variety of double hung windows. What's the new proposal?
They're the same. They're all the same.
But I mean, what are they?
Oh, we don't have the specs sheet.
They would be vinyl clad aluminum windows with the simulated divided light grids to match.
How many divisions?
So they would match, each window would match what's there currently.
So it'd be matching currently, so
Okay.
8/12
So
or
if it's 8 over
8.
12 now, it'd be 8 over 12 in the future.
Okay, so, okay, matching the existing as opposed to all matching.
Yeah,
Correct, right.
Which is
So
what we
if
had
it's
last month.
6 over 6 now, it'll be 6 over 6. If it's 8 over 12 now, it'll be 8 over 12.
Makes a lot of sense. We've had previously trying to make them all the same and it doesn't work because windows are.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
that's not what I meant.
Okay,
And then again, the second part would be replacing the garage door, the whole opening, aluminum garage door. Is there an option for one option with windows, one without windows?
I was gonna do the windows, with the steel door.
Steel door.
It'd be an 18 by 8, that's two 10 by 8s. And the problem with this one is that they've got this weird entrance on the right-hand side that is actually in the path of the car. So like when you open up that door, there's a staircase to get up into the house, and it's in the path there. So, I'd like to make that one big 18 by 8 door, but then in the middle, that would then move the car out of the path of that staircase.
So that would force you to add some brick on the sides.
I mean, I think I'd probably have to acquire some because that center coming out wouldn't be quite enough. So, again, with the window thing, I'm gonna have to find brick, so it's like, I just do it all at once.
actually ship,
I think you would end up with extra brick
yeah,
here
and there.
and there, which would want to match that water table.
Mm-hmm.
May need a drawing of that as well.
ideally, yeah.
Yeah,
The effect of that is that it closes in.
Hmm.
right.
Are you gonna close it in on both sides?
Still centered.
Yeah, the center, I'll make it.
Right, so you have a little bit extra here, a
Yeah.
little bit extra here,
That's right.
and then in the column in the middle goes away.
If those are 10 feet wide,
Correct.
plus what, 4 feet of brick in the middle? So you're going from 24 feet to 18?
Or like 2 feet, I think.
Yeah, so if we've got 20, let's see, we've got 22 feet there, and then we're gonna go to 18, so we've got to come up with 4 feet. Right?
2 feet of brick on each side.
No.
Which would, that would fix the problem inside.
Hmm.
Do we need a drawing for that?
Conceptualize it, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think, some of the detail work, like with the brick, water table at the bottom, needs to be matched.
What do you mean by water table?
The row lock,
The row of.
the row
brick.
lock that's,
Oh, yeah, sure, we would do it exactly the same.
yeah.
That's my intention, I like the way it looks.
And as I indicate, the soldier
Yeah,
row at the top.
Mhm.
I would have it done just that way.
Right.
Gentlemen, is there going to be enough brick when you pull the column out?
So he said.
No, he said it would.
More.
We have to need more.
Mhm.
All right. Do we have enough information to move forward on this aspect?
Can you scope out brick to make sure you can match the brick?
Well, I haven't done that yet, but yeah, I intend to, gotta find something close.
It's going to be tough, well, with the aging, but it is at the back of the house.
That's the back of the house.
It's a side.
Okay.
Side street.
And
Okay. Open to the side street?
Mhm.
Okay.
Henry in it. Henry.
All right, folks, so what do we think? As to the replacement windows, new material, but grid work in kind?
Hmm.
Motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion from
The
Billy.
windows.
Windows, second from Andy. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, as to the garage, are we comfortable with that?
I think so.
And as, actually, there are some drawings in the packet.
Yeah, so that garage door is facing Henry.
Right.
I mean, I would prefer to see a drawing of that. I mean, I can visualize it, but I don't know.
But it's not enough.
I mean, if we could note to match the Rolock and the soldier course at the top.
Wanda,
Got it.
you would add that to the minutes? So, I think we're gonna get a motion, but part of that motion would be matching the, patterns at the top and the bottom as well. All right, so with that, are you willing to modify your application accordingly?
Oh, sure.
Okay. With that, is there a motion to approve? The motion from Andy, second from Moyer, for the discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you back. Your application will remain open for the kitchen windows with, with the drawing.
I'll email those to Jeff.
And not just the, footprint drawing.
Elevation.
Elevation, thank you. Now on to BAR 1935.
The applicant is requesting approval for 2 changes at 418 North Main Street in the downtown historic district. The property will be the new home of the Kitchen Emporium. The applicant is seeking to change the awning and signage on the front of the building. The existing awning frame would be recovered in new material, so it would be the same design that you have there now of the awning. Be covered in black fabric instead with the new logo, or the logo for the Kitchen Emporium. So advertising the new business in that location. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. Policy states to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Awning and canopy signs may be considered. Again, the sign should be in character with the material, color, and detail of a building. And then finally, an awning or canopy should be similar to those seen historically. The board must decide if proposed changes meet the above criteria. A sign permit will be required prior to installation of the sign language on the awning. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Canvas awning, attractive design, changing from red to black. Any concerns? A motion from Jill, second from John. Anything further? All in favor? Aye. Hope the move works well for you. Yay. Next, we have BAR 1936.
The applicant is seeking to demolish the building at 118 East Earl Street in the downtown historic district. The applicant would demolish the structure and construct a new building in its place. The building to be demolished is a small stone structure between Southern Finance and the driveway to the city parking lot. The stone on the building will be salvaged and utilized in the new building project. Our downtown guidelines, of course, do not have demolition guidelines, and so what we typically do is provide you with the language from our residential guidelines to use as a guide to frame your discussion. I'm not going to read you all of those. You're familiar with them. So then moving on to the new construction portion. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 3-story building on the site. The building would extend further back than the original building. This building would be made up of a variety of exterior building materials, including stucco, glass, metal, and masonry construction. You should have this in your packet as well. The stone from the existing structure, when we originally looked at this, the stone from the structure is going to be on the walls in some areas. Zoom in here. What they have done now is created a plaza in front of the building, and you can see that the stone is now being utilized in that portion of the project instead of actually on the building itself. So that is a change from the drop-in workshop that we had regarding this project. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 11 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for Area 1, which is the commercial core area. I copied the whole section for you to review, since the detailed information in there. Again, it talks about building setbacks and building form and maintaining the line of building fronts in the block. You're familiar with that language again. The applicant is here tonight, the architect is here tonight, and the engineer is here tonight. Ryan McKibben is the architect, and he's got some little show for you, I suppose, that'll give you some more detail on the building project. And so I'm going to let him, unless you have any specific questions for me at this point, I'm going to let him go through that for you.
Hello, all. Good evening. Yeah, we'll try to switch this over. You guys start hitting buttons. Present. And then monitor. And then mod. Might be the.
Yeah, Patrick.
Did Pat step away?
There. Okay. So, probably one of the most important things I needed to mention was that the stone in the existing building, while we were trying to employ it on the back side, just wasn't working from an aesthetic standpoint. And so we thought we'd just construct out of brick back there and use the stone in a way, you know, a more decorative approach than what's shown right there. We have a plan of it. That's not exactly it, but it's, you know, use it all on this horizontal surface here. And it's, you know, it's going to be challenging to get it off the building in one, you know, pieces that we can use. So we don't want to rely on that either. So we're going to rely on using it as much as possible on the ground. And I think we can get enough of it to have a good, decent plaza design out of it. It's pretty rough, you know, so we're going to have portions that are concrete where we have accessibility requirements.
Mhm.
But in places like for seating, you know, just off the little sidewalk area, but we don't, I don't know. We do have a plan started for landscaping that area and hardscaping that area, but that's the plan, is to take it off the building and put it onto the ground exclusively. So.
But yeah, previously you'd indicated if you didn't have enough to do with the existing stone, you'd find similar stone that would match, it would.
Right, yeah, we would, try to match, but, you know, we were just trying to present a unified whole with brick, and we just felt like we keep the character, you know, intact by not switching back and forth and hoping to match stone that we're not sure we can match and all that. So we're taking it off, putting it, you know, vertically, going horizontally. So that's the main move, main difference that I think I need to highlight.
But this is also in the sidewalk area too?
What is?
This plaza that you're talking about is a part of it. Appears to be sidewalk, is that correct?
Yeah.
And I'd say, Jeff, can they do that?
We'll have to look at that and see if that's actually part of the public right-of-way, and
Trying to
I'm
get.
trying to remember if we own Benton Street or not. If we do, then it might be easier than if the state roads do.
So there.
Yeah, the city owns East Earl, so we have more say in what happens there.
Okay. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just, actually, I can take your questions about that, so I don't want to talk endlessly about it. Um, uh, Would you like to move on to the?
Please, go ahead.
All right, so we still have, you know, a fair amount of brick down at our first story level. We have then beefed up these brackets. These are steel brackets, and they run on both of these canopies. And you can then see around here at the back, that is where we're doing these, you know, these inset panel brick walls with cast stone tops, wall caps, and everything else. This was brick going up here, but to simplify and the detailing some, but also just to really create a more unified look, we carried the brick up to this this cornice here. We have, you know, added some detail to the cornice to break up those lines. That wasn't there before. I'm not showing the adjacent building right now, as you can see. This may be brick, but right now it's EVIS. It's kind of budget dependent, but I think that it's behind the building, so we're just going to see how that goes. It's, you know, not in public view. And then, you know, this is cement board siding with trim, and it follows the lines of our column lines. And let's see, what we've got. This is all painted steel up here. Are you following my mouse? I don't know if you can see it. Okay. And for the most part, I think that's it. We have this steel stair, and I think this expanded some on the roof level. We wanted a little bit more occupiable space up there that's conditioned, and I think this roof is just, you know, grew just a little bit. So, yeah, about it. Still doing our structurally glazed curtain wall system. This could be structurally glazed, or it might be that clear wall curtain wall system that is made by several manufacturers, including Conair and others. So, but it's got very minimal detailing on the exterior. It's presenting the glass mostly. So we figured out how to do that. And this is painted corrugated metal just in these little spots here. And this, of course, would be a window if this building wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and these are clear story windows that just, you know, are about at the, I guess I could turn that other building on if you want to see it. Just let me know. So, that's it. What questions do you guys have?
When we've approached similar situation, new construction downtown, the historic guidelines, how do we do that? And as we know, we try to be somewhat consistent in looking primarily at the first floor as to the architectural details indicating there, and the new additions up above. A little more relaxed with, but always looking for a reasonable and appropriate nod to historical details. You know, for me, I'm seeing the brick, the detail on the brick, the corbels as well, in addition to clearly some other contemporary features.
You've got the storefront kind of.
That's
look
right.
and-
So, question away. Ryan's here.
I think the additional details do enhance it. Like there's a lot.
Nice evolution to the design from what we've seen previously.
Oh, thank you.
The structurally glazed system at the front, will only 8 of those panels be translucent and the rest opaque? Is that what it's showing?
Right.
Okay.
They're spandrel glass, so they'll be painted with a matte paint on the one surface. our interior surface. And then these will be actual windows, 8 of them. 4 and 4, yep, that's right.
What is that space used for?
It's designed to be a conference room or a high-powered executive office, something like that.
Perfect for you, Tom.
Yeah.
And it will be that light color? Sorry.
Yeah.
It won't be like a black.
We're going for not black. We're going for like a light gray,
Yeah.
warm gray. I mean, just to kind of go with the tones that. Oh, I lost you. Sorry. I'm not exactly sure if I can get back. If I can remember that number. No. Okay. Sorry.
Patrick's coming.
You might need to move that.
This retail on the ground floor.
I just didn't put that number, so I don't know if that's the number.
We had,
Okay.
Oh, 7. Oh, it changes.
second floor.
Okay, it'll ask you a code here in a sec.
Yeah, I like it though.
Even the solar panels up here. Not sure when it's disconnected though. Take solar panels and move them up here, then capture all that other space right there.
Is it going to be an internal roof drain system as far as the water from the roof?
Which part? Up at the roof? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's a good question.
And the material on the garage doors?
A composite material of some kind made to look. It might be made to look wood. We haven't really gotten that far yet, but yeah, it probably a composite material with a wood look. Could be similar to this PVC product that has a graining and a wood texture and color.
Would be a nice hue to it and the added texture appropriate. It would work well.
Yeah, and it's what we have in our soffits, and like up here, all over. It's really dark up there, so I don't know if you can see it, but there's that same type of look in our soffits. Not that they'll match our soffits, but that is the idea.
I mean, the brick detail really does very well with. There it goes.
Yeah.
More traditional historic brickwork.
Yeah,
Yeah, even the herringbone pattern with the brick and all of that, nice details.
just go hardwire it.
We wanted to blend in.
Yeah.
A reasonable attempt.
What was that old stone building that was there?
That was.
What was the old stone building?
Dentist?
Optometrist.
Optometrist, that's right.
Well, that was in the 40s.
Yeah.
All right, good job.
While we're waiting for visual, other questions? Any clarification on material, design, thoughts? All right, so first order of business, because Jeff, we've not, and I know we've talked about it, but we've not approved the demolitions.
Correct.
Is that correct?
So we would need to approve demolition first and then approve new construction.
All right, and as you know, short structure, contributing, the ability to move it, and historic events. Any concerns as to the demo on this? My thoughts are, we're taking space in a building that really couldn't do much with and putting that area downtown into use.
Mhm.
Uh,
And we've preserved that other building that's, down by Jones Law Firm, that has the same sort of stonework.
Mhm.
We still have that in Anderson.
And, and utilizing to some extent the stonework, on the
Absolutely.
facade. So any concerns as to the demo? There a motion to approve? A motion from John, is there a second? From Jill. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? All right. Now, as to the design as submitted, there may be some changes along the way, and of course, they'll come back before us with any of that, with Jeff's guidance, but with the design as submitted tonight. Any further questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
A motion from John, is there a second from Moyer? Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck to you, sir. Thank you very much. It's been quite the project that will be growing. Good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
Now we have BAR 19.
I'm sorry, high-powered executive office space for lease.
Okay. That's right. Mhm. Jeff asked to the sidewalk if you really would get with them and clarify. I know others have attempted that in the past and any false steps.
The City of Anderson is undertaking a renovation project at 601 South Main Street in the downtown historic district. The property is a municipal business center. A number of repairs are being made to the building. Most of these are in-kind repairs that do not need board approval, as the appearance of the building will not change. The city is seeking to change the base material of the structure, however. Right now it is a split face stone on the bottom all the way around the building. As you can see, we're having some issues with it, and so as part of this project, what they're proposing to do is to change that out from the stone to red brick. Here, the specific brick will match brick that is currently on City Hall. And so the two buildings are coordinated, the stucco colors will match, the bricks will now match on the two buildings. And so the change that they're requesting is to go from that split face block on the bottom to the red brick to match City Hall. And it would just be along the base where the stone is now. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 4 of the Downtown Design Guidelines for historic building materials. Following sections apply to this request. First policy states, original building materials should be preserved in place whenever feasible. Deteriorated building materials should be repaired rather than replaced whenever feasible. And original building materials that have deteriorated beyond repair should be in kind. This is not a historic building. It's 10, 11, 12 years old. I can't remember exactly how long I've been there. And so they're not historic building materials, but they are a change in building materials. So with that, the board must decide the proposed site changes meet the above criteria.
Seems to me a move in the right direction.
What about the corbels?
I'm sorry.
Corbels that are added? We talked
They're on City Hall building.
You mentioned.
No, I forgot about that.
I'm sorry.
I forgot about that. So these are not currently on the building. They are on City Hall. And so these will be added at all the wing wall locations, again, to match and blend in with the City Hall building.
seemingly are moving in the right direction, coordinating material, certainly the split blocks, not historic, adding architectural details. Any concerns, comments, questions?
Did they find out what was causing the block to fail like it did? And will this brick just do the same thing, or?
Well, the problem is the EFS system that was put in place was installed incorrectly, and so you're getting drainage
Right.
behind all of that. All that is coming off.
Oh, it is.
Those are being replaced. In kind, and so it will look the same as it does now. But I mean, my understanding is that some of the windows were put in backwards. They didn't have the proper drainage behind the EFS, and so they had all that water running down there, which I think has then run behind the stone and caused the problems with the stone. And so all of that is being redone.
So you're fixing the problem and?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's going to be a mess for a while. So.
Okay.
All right. Anything further? Motion to approve? Jill, second. Tilly?
Yep.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
And finally tonight, VAR 1938.
That is the packet that was placed up on the desk before the meeting started. There are some changes to this as well, which are reflected in the packet that you have from the staff report and when that went out. The applicant is requesting approval for multiple changes to the property at 109 East Calhoun Street in the Downtown Historic District. Property was formerly the Cox Oil Company and will be the new home of Electric City Brewing Company. The applicant is seeking to make the following changes: new signage, new awnings, changing out storefront glass, a new covered patio area, exterior lighting, and removing the chain link fence from the property. In terms of the sign, there is a painted wall sign on the building now. The new sign would be another painted wall sign. It would be in the same location as the existing sign on the building. That's what you have now. Cox Oil Company Incorporated.
Same dimensions?
Same dimensions. One change that you can see, obviously, from these two drawings is that was not included in the staff report, is they're now proposing to paint the rest of the building as well. And the color samples that you have, darker one, which they tell me should be a little bit lighter when it actually goes on the building. The cyberspace would be the body of the building, and then the other color, urbane bronze, would be the front door color. And so that is a change from the staff report that we have gotten tonight. And so you now would have, and you have it, so I mean, it looks awful dark on the graphic here, but it doesn't look that dark when you look at it in the packet. So that you'd have the same painted wall sign with their logo, still the little point towards the old use of the building, the Cox Oil building. Awnings. John has a color sample up there. It's a burgundy awning color. You can see on here they have awnings over the front of the building here, so it'd be over all the windows and the door. Red canvas awnings or burgundy canvas awnings that would go over, again, the window area here, the doors, the window, and the window at the corner. Storefront glass, this presents another change from the staff report. What you have now is storefront glass over most of the front of the building. The right-hand side here, that is the same as what was in the staff report. Some close-ups here. So on the right-hand side, where you have this window now, what they're looking to do is this would be garage doors, similar to Maddie's at the time. It's I think Deja Vu now, which can be open seasonally. Seating area outside, which would then link into the building. So this glass would be replaced with garage doors that have the ability to go up and down. In the staff report, the windows on the left, they were just going to get new glass. That has changed now, and similar to the garage doors over here, this would be bricked up. And then you'd have the possibility for having stools, a countertop here. This would be able to be opened as well. So you have almost like a serving window with roll-up windows. And then you'd go back to the storefront glass at the corner, here and here, where that glass exists already. So you're opening up the front of the building here and here to street traffic. The doors here remain the same, except they get painted. All right. On the right-hand side of the building, they are providing a patio area, a covered patio area for some outdoor seating. And this would be, just show you this while I have it here. So with the garage doors open, you'd be looking at something like this into the seating area. See the awning there with the tables and the planter out on the sidewalk and free flow in and out of the building.
But it looks like there's a bit of a curb in that drawing that it wouldn't be walking in.
Yes. Right, there is a little bit there, right? There's lower, I think, at this point, and comes up a little bit over here, so.
So it'd be open, but not necessarily walking through as easily.
So you have a small patio area with the wood trellis. There's another view of it, end on. You end up with a couple of steps to go up, a seating area out here. It's a door into the building here at this point. Goes down a couple of steps to get in. On the drawing that you had in your staff report, there's a little planting here in front of this that would remain. It's not shown here just so you can see the structure. Let me. So it had like a little trellis planting. They took it off of this other drawing just so you could see what it would really look like, see what's behind that.
But it will still be there, or it's
It will
proposed to still be
yes.
there?
And these planters are on sidewalk.
Yes, we have an encroachment permit program for that, similar to tables and chairs downtown. I believe that would apply to these as well, with the tables and chairs, planters, where you get an encroachment permit through the city, which basically insures us. We'll have to see in this case, because it's on Calhoun Street, and which is a state road, just to make sure that everything is okay with that. That's something that we'll have to do at the staff level to make sure that all that, those types of approvals get done, so. Let's see, exterior lighting. There's some lighting over the sign that would be on the front of the building. See on the front here, you've got several lights, which would shine down on the front of the building and the sign. Those would be additions. There's no lighting on the front now that I'm aware of. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light fixtures on the front. And finally, removing the fence. There's a chain link fence on the site that they would remove. You can see that. I mean, it goes down the 2 streets, and so they'd be removing that fencing as well. I think would definitely be an improvement. So, all right, when reviewing this request, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 5, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, and Chapter 9 of the design guidelines. Talks about maintaining an historic storefront and all of its character-defining features, defines what those features are. Talks about preserving historic windows and doors. Site lighting should be used to enhance the pedestrian experience at night. Design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Painted wall signs were things that were seen historically and can be allowed in the district. And an awning or canopy should be similar to those seen historically. Once again, the board must decide the proposed changes meet the above criteria, and a sign permit will be required prior to installation of the sign. Happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicants are here as well.
Okay, very attractive. Question though. First, I think, let's talk about painting the brick. That has been an issue many times in the past. We've, based upon the individual circumstances, have ruled differently. Of course, each time we approach each individual building and what is being presented. Thoughts?
What time period is this building built?
Do you know how old the building is?
Well, then the cost building was different, back in 57 hours ago.
I'd love to know if you find out.
I mean, it doesn't appear to have any historical features, that's why I was asking that the painting the brick to me is an improvement for that.
The other half of the building's white, is painted white brick, papers.
It says since 1957, does that mean anything?
I don't know.
Topsoil, right? That's when topsoil originated.
Right, so that building may have been there prior to that. I'm not sure.
If I'm not mistaken, it was built in the 40s, Hudson car dealership.
So this building, this space doesn't go all the way back, does it? Like if you're looking from the fenced-in area, there's a pretty long facade.
Yeah, the fenced-in area is on the corner of Calhoun and North.
So your building stops at some point along that long facade, right? On the right-hand side, if you're facing the front of the building?
Facing the front of the building is the brewery,
Yeah. So does it go all the way down?
about where to the left of that, right, probably the end of the dumpster right there.
It's 200 feet from the corner to the first window. That's where we stop.
So would you stop your paint?
Well, we propose to paint the whole building.
Okay.
I budgeted to paint the whole building, so it will still be the whole building, you know? I
Right.
don't think it will look right.
I agree, yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be just too much.
The other end of the building is paper supply, they join and it's painted brick or stucco.
No, it's white.
Yeah.
And then there's a section of vinyl on the awning as well, and on the gate.
I don't know that the brickwork and the color is contributing, or that anything would be lost. You know, again, as we've taken each one individually. So any concerns with that? All right, so getting over that hurdle, which we've had in the past. Garage doors up in front. You know, we've approved them before. This is downtown, which we've always been proactive in supporting and encouraging new activity and businesses. Certainly seems to be conducive to the use of this space.
Yeah, it really creates a good pedestrian environment out front right there. I like it.
I think it's very compatible even with the former use of the building. Like
Yeah.
doors seem to be quite.
And it's to be noted that where you recognize the original building, the Cox Oil building, that's a nice nod to downtown and what used to be here. You know, the other details, thoughts, comments?
What's the countertop material? You may have mentioned that. It's granite.
Okay, Brad.
And of course, you'll look into city licensing abilities to serve out of a bar on the street.
Yeah, well, and that portion is coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, not beer, the tap room is inside, they have to. That's strictly for people coming by, want their quick drip coffee, get back to the office, or sit down on a nice morning and, enjoy a cup of coffee.
Excellent. Just noted that that could be an issue.
It is.
Not before us, but, just sharing.
You want to talk about the sign now, or?
Let's talk about the
anything?
sign. Go right ahead.
Is the original front sign, is that painted on the brick?
Yes.
It is? So the new sign would also be painted directly, or would it be adhered?
Sure. As far as the painted versus something else for the signage? Painted or a, 3M vinyl, plain type. Our goal was to keep similar colors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the correct font for Coxwell buildings so we can fully tribute the font and everything to it. I thought of, because the awnings are not at the proper height, I'm about at 8, 9, I believe it have to be at 10 feet. We will have to probably shorten the height of the sign, and for, dimension purposes, we'll have to shorten it. So the one you're seeing right there is about 30 feet versus 42. The sign, like, we wanted to get rid of a lot of the white space because we don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, to be true, cost-wise will also be less if we minimize the size of the sign. If we were to paint the building and either do the 3M vinyl or paint.
An adhered sign would weather better.
Yeah, that's the other point, is that the painted sign will, especially the red, tends to fade out very quickly.
Mhm.
And the maintenance, be going versus a nice vinyl sign. That could just remain nice and intact.
Jill? Well,
It's like it's here.
It's like a hard board that it's printed on,
mhm.
like a plastic board pretty much.
The question
that's
is the
printed.
material, the sign material that you were referencing.
The vinyl is like heated on and adheres.
It's a heat process, they put it on, I'm not sure what it's called.
Oh, it's actually, it wouldn't be a rigid board, it would be like a sticker almost that's heat applied. Yeah.
On the brick. So it'll take the shape of the brick?
So it would look like it's painted on the brick.
We have that
Right.
in other places in the city. We have that in other places in the city.
Okay.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
art center.
Yeah. I like that. I like where you can see the brick
Yeah.
joints. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like that.
That is.
It looks like it's painted from just the ground.
Right.
Fading
Most of
in the weather.
The background, is that gonna be vinyl also? Is that gonna be white?
Right, I mean, so you would have the whole white sheet like that.
The entire
So
rectangle.
it'd be a printed graphic like that with the whole white sheet and the graphics on it, and the whole thing is applied to the building.
And my goal is to match that blue that was there, again, as part of the tribute to the building and the it. And then, Coxwell, I don't think that was the name of it, but they were there for 61 years, so I figured we'll give them a little respect.
Yeah.
To what they, for the
I think
community.
most people now know that as the Coxwell building.
I know.
Yeah.
And the material for the front door.
Well, the door is the same, existing door, it's
Same doors.
Door and painted.
just wood.
Other questions, comments, concerns? We've got the trellis area to the side, the patio.
Yeah, could you maybe go through what the railing at that trellis area would be? It looks like metal pipe, maybe. Yeah, is that metal pipe?
There'll be some sort of metal piping that durable, so nobody leans in. That's right.
And the other material for this trellis and pergola area. Is that wood? Stained?
Probably the eastern cedar. Definitely.
Western.
And the vertical supports on the railing. No, the railing that appear to be in yellow. What is that, material-wise?
Everything in there except for the pipes would be wood.
It would probably end up being a wood post right there,
Yeah.
the metal.
Probably aluminum. I wasn't involved in this drawing.
Yeah.
Railing could be the cable type system or they show like aluminum. Even, I'm saying that would be like aluminum product.
And the color of that, and it appears to be white, or would it be the,
Metal.
of a metal stainless looking color?
Probably have that.
To match the window, I mean, the garage doors?
And what about the top of the railing, the wood?
That's still wood.
Or,
That'll still be wood. So, other than for the pipes, metal pipes will be all wood.
And I think it's in here, to the far left of the building.
Which part?
There's a,
The window or?
the grass area,
Yeah.
patio. Do they have-
That area is actually part of the parking lot of the bank.
Right.
We're just imagining that's little morning sit down, grass area.
I mean, I didn't think that was part of the building's property.
Okay.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. It's literally, there's about 9 feet from the building sidewalk wise, that little alleyway, and then that's inside the parking lot of the bank.
Okay.
We just figured the bank might appreciate it too. Yeah. Second page.
Right, but are you taking up the alleyway to create this?
No, we will be begging the bank to give us that little patch they have right there. So that little area will fall within the back parking lot. So it really will be more for the city than us, but it'll work for all kind of thing, you know? And because it's grass, I also included a little doggy cleaning station.
Well, the existing grass area is separated from the building with the driveway.
Mhm.
That,
There's a drive, I'm assuming that's where a utility vehicle goes?
right, it goes all the way through to Greenville Street.
Yeah.
So the grassy area would be converted to a patio of sorts? That would work?
That's the idea, sir.
And the tree would remain? Is it-
Yeah, there's one tree there now. But we can always change it to the trees that might go on the rest of the area, to that street.
Yeah. And that material for this retaining wall or a planter is what?
They could be, I have them there as like a gray brick to kind of go with the building a little bit, on most of them. Even along the parking lot a little bit, and then change it to match the tree layout you have on the tractor block proposals, you know? So, but that's not set in stone. That could be shrubbery, it could be, you know, I figured that would enclose it a little bit, make it more private.
Yeah.
Less the entertainment.
Okay, and what page is that on in? So, yeah, you got it?
Which page are we looking at?
Go further, here we go, this page,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, this
Well, we
is
don't do
the
glass
side of the street.
except for the retaining wall. Jeff, this is what we're referencing. But that's part of your property? No, it's not, okay.
No, that's what I was saying, that I believe that's part of the back.
Okay, so we're not gonna consider that?
No, yeah,
Okay.
that was a last minute thought, but, you know,
Attractive, but I just wanna make sure that
yeah.
If it's before us, we deal with it. If not, we don't deal with it.
And honestly, it could be designed better. I'm not a landscaper, man.
Okay. Very good.
Now,
Yes, sir.
in the proposal for the city, they do have some streetscape stuff in the plans for us to turn about. They had shown a black fence and trees, basically very similar to this. So I think that might be where some of the idea came from.
Maybe, yeah. So, we had looked at the shot the block proposals online, and so I added those trees along the two sidewalks last night to kind of match, since that was already proposed by the city, to kind of match that view to it. Because initially I had those planters along the parking lot. Can you find one of the close and I have some bollards, I think that's the plan, to light the entrance for cars. Propose a few lights for customer flash safety in the parking lot at night, and things like that.
Yeah, there they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that falls under, the lights. It doesn't look good, it's like,
All very attractive. It just need to clearly define what's before us tonight and pass on that and not in someone else's territory.
yes, sir.
All right. Any further questions? Do we know what we're looking at?
Yep.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
This could just be a personal taste thing, but I think with the pergola, to me, it would tie in better with the building without those swoopy brackets. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's sort of contrary to the rest of the look of the building.
Something less residential up against kind of the industrial look of the. To me, if you take those curved brackets off, it would tie in better with the architecture of the building.
Yeah, absolutely. They're probably there for support more than anything, so,
It wouldn't be curved.
It wouldn't. Yeah, I think more straight lines.
yeah.
And perhaps carrying the straighter lines to the cross beams on the pergola
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think so. More of an industrial and less of the backyard pergola.
Okay with that? All right. With that modification, anything further? Any objection to taking it as a whole? I think we could do that. All right.
Any additional signing would probably need to come back at a later date that might be not included.
Sure.
Projection signing, window facing. I had a question on what was on the right and left-hand side of the door. Whether that was signage, lighting, or just some type of picture.
What's that, John?
The side logo pieces beside the door. What is that?
Oh, on the,
On the old rendering, yeah.
On the front of the building.
So there's one on each side of the building.
Right.
What is that?
They're painted signs also with control information, stuff like that. They wouldn't be one of ours, it would be
like that logo right there?
Oh, the ones, I'm sorry.
Are you talking about on the left and
Yeah,
right?
those, correct. Yeah, those would be actual metal signs cut in the shape of the tap handle. And they'll be lit.
Same logo, backlit, wall sconce.
Yeah.
Okay. If they're lit, let's look at them more carefully now.
For these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us again about what these are.
They're, laser cut, metal, like 8 inches thick, backlit with LED, the wall sconce, essentially. 3 feet tall, and proportionally.
That's part of what we consider the exterior lighting package.
Right.
We're considering, okay.
Clear enough on that?
Mhm.
Are we ready to move forward? Is there a motion? We have a motion from Jill. Is there a second? A second from Andy. Anything further? All in favor? Very good. Very nice. We look forward to
Drinking.
watching your progress.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Drinking.
Beautiful package.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, it did. Information does certainly help.
Move
All
to,
right, as no addenda, we'll move to review the minutes from last month's meeting. So Andrea, thank you as always, keeping up, especially tonight, a little more complicated night than usual.
Is that my fault?
No. Anything, corrections? Is there a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes from Billy, second. Thank you, John. Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that concludes tonight's, agenda. Anything further?
move to adjourn.
The motion from John to adjourn, second from Moyer. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, Patrick.